Yes, I start off Hard Facts this afternoon with a sheker for all our Muslim brothers and sisters or Muslim faithful listening in the number one talk station, 95.1 Nigeria Info. Barakat the Salah to you. Eid Mubarak, Eid al-Adha Mubarak. I've been sort of like awash with all the different things that there are to say, but Barakat the Salah, Eid al-Kabir, all of that. Barakat the Salah to you all. Thank you so much for coming to listen to the radio on this day. I know that a lot of people are probably away. Some people are, journeying to get to one place or the other. But then some of you are still here with us, and it's honoring indeed. It's humbling, really, to have you here. So thank you, and Barakat the Salah to you once again. It's Hard Facts Wednesday midweek special. So no Dr. Bajade, please. He's off celebrating Salah as well. So it's just you and I in the studio this afternoon. Thank you so much for being a part of all of the conversations from when we first went live this morning all the way up until now. It's currently 3:16 p.m. And there is no holiday for me, as you can tell, as I am here, and I will be here till 7 p.m. Hopefully, by the time I'm done, I will still have Salah meat somewhere. At this point, I'm vulnerable. I need Salah meat. Governor Aliyu telling Muslims that they should share sacrificial meat with vulnerable persons. So yes, consider me one of them. But, all jokes aside, thank you so much. And I pray that all your prayers will be answered. Indeed, that this period will bring joy in your heart and in your homes and plenty of blessings in your life. That is for me to you. Somi is the name. That's S-O-M-I, short for Somi. And it's time for us to get into our conversations. Well, apart from the fact that we're celebrating Salah today, it's also Children's Day. So that's it for you as well. Happy Children's Day. And I know I've been on socials all day. And at a point, people are really asking some very tough questions. Are the children really happy? Well, I guess we can say that it is a mixed bag. There are children who we're definitely going to be celebrating with while still praying and, speaking up for, and our hearts just being poured out for those who are not celebrating as children, as parents, this period, right? So happy Children's Day, but our prayers continue to go up to our children who are, in the forest, being held captive, being, tortured and all that. I'm sure as a parent right now who has such children, there's nothing happy about today. So it's a mixed bag indeed. It is indeed a mixed bag, but we will not stop, as usual, to add our voices and continue to call for the right thing to be done for our children to come home. I mean, we've been speaking about the state of insecurity across all the shows on Nigeria Info ever since Monday. So, as bittersweet as it is today, we will still say Happy Children's Day. The children on Kids FM Kids FM is awash right now. Lots of children. So yes, your children can go and listen in there and just participate in all the fun activities that are going on. And God continue to bless and keep us all. Amen and amen. All right. So yes, quick run through. Everybody talking at this special occasion of Eid. Like I said, Governor Liu talking about sharing sacrificial meat with vulnerable persons. The president calling for unity, obedience to rule of law, and prayers for the criminal elements as well. I'm sure you heard that one. Also, Makinde assuring community members and people in the state that the abductees will be brought back home, while the president also committed to easing Nigeria's hardship. This is the vice president talking all of this at this occasion where our leaders are coming out to speak. Well, there's somebody who said, well, as far as the children are concerned, don't even just come out and say nothing, right? We're looking at people taking to social media platforms today. Like I said, I've been there all morning. So, Nigerians making it clear that they had no appetite for celebration as far as Children's Day is concerned, while others were using the day to reiterate calls for the release of kidnapped children, amongst others. Leading the charge was former Minister of Education and co-founder of Transparency International, Dr. Obiageli Ezekwesili, who published a lengthy open letter addressed to the President Bola Tinubu, state governors, and the National Assembly, demanding that the political class remain silent rather than issue ghost-written platitudes, in her words. She says, do not dare open your mouth on May 27 to wish Nigerian children a happy Children's Day. Do not dare stand in front of cameras, surrounded by carefully arranged children in matching uniforms, to perform a tenderness you have never extended to the millions of Nigerian children that you have abandoned, betrayed, and condemned to life of suffering. This is her open letter on X. She also proceeded to list children to whom she said the government will be dishonoring through its wishes, which included the Oyo school abductees and other students kidnapped by bandits in previous cases of school abductions. She said, and I quote, "You're wishing Happy Children's Day to at least 1,799 students seized in a dozen of the largest abductions since Chibok, and to the 670 children affected by at least 10 school kidnappings in less than 2 years. A litany of horror compiled not by your security agencies, but by international human rights organizations doing the work your government refuses to do." She said, and I continue, "You are wishing Happy Children's Day to around 19 million Nigerian children, 27% who do not attend school due to the threat of kidnapping, poverty, and cultural factors, and one of the highest numbers in the world," she wrote. Ezekwesili further berated the political class for offering hypocritical wishes to millions of children devastated by illiteracy, state-sanctioned demolitions, severe malnutrition, and a collapsed primary health care systems. Of course, her sentiments found immediate resonance on X, where Nigerians had already been expressing outrage and displeasure. Another person who spoke to that, broadcaster Hosseini Rufai, speaking, said Children's Day and children are in kidnappers' den. You also had popular social media personality Enioluwa Adeoluwa also addressing the kidnapped children directly in his post. And he said, today, Children's Day is dedicated to the Ogbomoso children, to the children in the forest, to the children without safety, without protection, to the children who now fear the same classrooms that should have held their dreams. And he said, children deserve safety, they deserve care, they deserve love from the country they call home. This can never become our new normal. You don't get to celebrate children while abandoning them. Lots of other people making their voices known, of course, on X. When Dipo calling on the military to intensify operations. And then he said the armed forces should continue wiping out these terrorists from within communities. So yes, like I said, a mixed bag. Quite a number of people also honoring the day, while you can hear from just a small sampling of people who are calling out the government on this Children's Day. We're going to take a quick beat. When we come back, we're still speaking about our children, but this time around speaking to a host of other issues. You know, May 27 every year, we've had international agencies, we've had what's it called now? The Child's Right Act. We've domesticated across most states in the country. A host of things happening. And yet, despite all of this advocacy, international and local, Nigerian children have remained vulnerable. There's a number of other metrics that we're going to be using to address this report. And hopefully we can speak to these things so that even, through continued advocacy, but this time around targeted at specific metrics. Yes, insecurity is a big issue, but there are other things. There are other areas where our Nigerian children are not doing so well and are remaining very, very vulnerable. We'll speak to all of that after this beat. Stay with us. It's 95.1 Nigeria Info. We'll be right back. to be looked into. Now, just from a general overview, you're talking about as everything from as little as overcrowded classrooms and inaccessible school facilities to displacement caused by insecurity, hunger, child labor, and abuse. And these are the realities confronting millions of Nigerian children, which continue to raise questions about whether official commitments to child protection are translating to meaningful change. Now, this is important because, like I said earlier on at the beginning of this conversation, there are international there is commitment, and there's been a lot of help from international communities, right? We also having things like the Child's Right Act in place in many states. You have the UN Convention of the Rights of a Child ratified by the Nigerian government, and yet we're having scary figures. Let's just take a quick look at it, and then we'll open up the phone lines to say, to discuss it in detail. Nigeria's education deficit, for example, has ballooned into a catastrophe. According to UNICEF and Save the Children data, over 28 million children and adolescents lack access to formal school or digital learning. This is compounded by severe learning poverty, where children in school are failing to attain basic literacy and acute insecurity. Of course, the mass school abductions, displacements, and conflict, particularly in the Northeast and Northwest, are major contributing factors to this. You can also look at economic exploitation and child labor. I think in a few weeks, we're going to be speaking specifically about child labor here in Nigeria. The statistics are staggering. So while we are, calling on the government to protect our children, there are some areas that we ourselves are failing, and we need to start looking inwards to say, what are we doing right and what are we doing wrong in this area, right? So yes, because, of course, poverty, a key factor, and inflation, 2 out of every 3 Nigerian children are said to be living in multidimensional poverty. You can go and look at the statistics. National Human Rights Commission has this report. This economic strain forces families to rely on children for survival. This is sounding a little closer to home now. Approximately 43% of children aged 5 to 11 are trapped in child labor. We're talking about hazardous farming, quarrying, street hawking, illegal mining, artisanal mining, all of that. All of these fundamentally robbing them of their childhood and safety. Then when it comes to sociocultural vulnerabilities and harmful practices, these things are deeply entrenched in our communities. You are having these sociocultural norms overriding statutory protections, things that should ordinarily protect the Nigerian child. You have sociocultural norms overshadowing it, and our children are not protected. According to the report, Nigeria remains home to over 24 million child brides, with 40% of girls married off before the age of 18 in certain regions. Additionally, millions are facing severe physical and psychological trauma from domestic abuse, abandonment, and female genital mutilation. These are a host of issues that are there to speak to when it comes to the protection of our children in Nigeria. Then there is the emerging digital frontier of harm, some of which us as parents are primarily responsible for. So advocacy and existing frameworks are failing to adapt to modern threats. And so recent data from the NCC and child advocacy groups show a terrifying surge in online dangers. And according to the findings, 9 in 10 Nigerian children have faced at least one form of cyber risk. That is for those who are exposed, especially at vulnerable ages. What are we talking about when it comes to cyber risk? We're talking about cyberbullying, predatory grooming, or sexual exploitation. And so gaps in legislation such as the pending Child Online Protection Bill, yes, that is in place, means that 80% of flagged harmful content involving minors remain online for more than 48 hours without removal. And so, as we celebrate our children today, there are a host of issues that we should be speaking to, and we have to, I'm hoping that we can, start to address once the phone lines are open. How can we continue to ensure that our children are better cared for, are better protected, even by us parents, based on some of the things that we're seeing in this report? You have a Child Right Act that has been domesticated in most states, yet indicators of child labor, child marriage, and out-of-school numbers continue to worsen. So the issue is now no longer the absence of law. So even if that one that talked about the Child Online Protection Bill came into law, the fact is that on our part, how are we ensuring that these laws are actually being used to protect the lives of our children, right? So it's not necessarily the absence of laws. Laws are important, and for all intents and purposes, we must fight to have the ones that would actually serve our children and protect them. But you're also seeing a total breakdown of political will and enforcement mechanisms. And so how do we start to fix it? Is this a lack of funding that is, of course, we talk about poverty as a contributing factor, but how do we fix that problem? Because the poverty will contribute to why our children are sent into child labor, is also contributing into why our children are being kidnapped at a large scale. All of it is adding up. So how do we start to fix these things? Then you also look at the government and the role of social welfare departments. Are these active? In a case where it is a parent by themselves who is doing this harm to their child, what mechanisms are in place? Or is it just a deeper cultural reluctance within our law enforcement and judiciary to interfere in what they view as domestic or traditional matters? Because after all, now the parent get the pikin, right? It's different in some other parts of the world where they say it is the state that owns the child. So how do we start to fix all of these things? Security on the one hand, but you're looking at some other damning statistics. Let's talk about it if you have the time. 0809-597-4869. On WhatsApp is 0809-993-0137. We will continue to call the government out. But in the aspect of these other things, how are we faring as people who are parents to these children? How are we faring as people who are exposed to the realities of the Nigerian economy? Are we protecting our children in spite of these things? Or are there just hands in the air and we're helpless? Good afternoon.
Yeah, hello, good afternoon.
Welcome.
Thank you. My name is Abdul calling from Maitama.
Go ahead, sir. Barka de Salah to you, Abdul. Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Nigeria Info. I pray for Nigeria Info every day on the respect of touching every aspect of the situation in Nigeria. I commend you and keep doing what you're doing and doing it very well. It's only God that will reward you for what you did and promote you to the next level. Thank you very much.
Amen.
Child abuse and child rights. We neglect it in Nigeria from the expression of the democracy since 1999. I've been constantly sometimes talking on the respect of these things some years or months back about if you see the kind of children that they are roaming on the streets of Abuja, not to talk about state. Right now, do you know the situation we found ourselves? There is internal migration of the innocent children intersect down to the cities. Some people intentionally going and displace their own parents due to the poverty and corruption that kill the system of authority to do the right thing. And at the same time, I even see it is the fault of NAPTIC that collaborate with the federal government and other non-governmental organizations that they constantly talk about child abuse rights. Yes. Do we have a free education? You hear politicians talking about free education. They can even tell you they spend money for those students that could not get access to food in their parents' house to go to the school. They can get the 2 square meters before the after school. There is nothing to show due to the corruption. They created that thing purposely to some people. They packed the money into their own personal pocket. But it's a very painful thing that if you go around to Abuja, I swear, 3 times I swear to you, if you go to within Abuja, you will see a 6 years, 7 years old girl living on the street. Immediately you saw her. if her parents, they are not living in Abuja.
Okay.
They brought them from Katsina, Sokoto, Zamfara, even Maiduguri, far away north. That is the reason why I'm always challenging our leaders,
Okay, sir.
that they are always saying that the government of the day are doing well, they are doing this. The insecurity, look at the children from under 10, 15, 13.
All right,
on the
Abdul.
street, having some big fun in their hand, doing so many things. Do you know what kind of work they are doing?
Okay,
They
Abdul.
didn't teach them carpentry work. They didn't teach them how to do handwork. You allow these children to be roaming on the street, and you expect you will not have a conflict.
Okay, we need to leave it at that. Thank you so much, Abdul. Yeah, of course. I mean, these are a number of things that you speak to on a daily basis. How do we fix them though? There's a role for the state governors. What about someone mentioned NAPTIP? Can't remember who it was. I mentioned NAPTIP, but are we? Is it a failure of systems and institutions, or is it a failure of us as a people generally? Hello.
Hello, Nigerian Info.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Greetings. Somi, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
My word. Okay, Madam, calling from Kubwa.
All right, so go ahead.
Thank you for the topic. The issue is that we must come back to the drawing table. That's the only thing. See, all this, even those that give out their gay shot out of marriage at the age of 10, 12, 13. You see? So go to the state of Nigeria, whether it's from the east, from the west, from the north to south. You see children hawking. So much children that want to be in primary school hawking. Even they are allowed to go and they want to go all this nursery school, all this 1 year, 6 months. If they allow them, they will do that. So this is that we must go back to the drawing table. This is that our religious leaders have failed. Yes, we know that our government, local government, state government, are you hearing me?
Yes, I can hear you, okay.
Yes, our local government are failed. State government are failed. Federal government are failed. Our religious leaders are in. They are busy collecting tithe and offering. The saying of a seed and less of them. First offering, second offering, third offering, and the special offering. Bazaar money. All is money. All is money. Are they want to be God? What are you trying to say? Then we are going to go back to the drawing table. See, we should knock it out to the National Assembly. Yes, Nigerians, if we must get it right, we should ban sex in this country. How do they produce children married? Produce. You give 10 to 10 children, 12. You marry again. Produce. You give back to 15. You marry again. Produce. You give back to 20. You marry again. We should ban sex in this country so that we stop where issue of producing children.
Okay.
Me?
Yes, okay, I heard you. Interesting suggestion. Is it the sex that is the problem, or is it the giving birth to children that cannot be catered to that is the problem? I'm just interested in that angle that you came from. It's rather intriguing. Let's take some more calls. Good afternoon. Hello? Hello, are you there?
Hello.
Yes, sir, welcome. Hello, I can hear you. Can you hear me? All right. Do call the direct line if WhatsApp is problematic. It's 0809 597 4869. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ladies. Somi, Barka Sallah Sibi.
Barka de Salah, sir.
Darling spouse.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate all Nigeria for the compliment of this. From Bawaleka.
Welcome, sir.
Let me just the last caller. If you should offer himself for the experimenter, if he first offer himself for to become sexually. What did the guy want when the cut of a male organ to do that, to offer himself for that experiment? It's part of human reproduction system. it is left for individual to know how many children somebody can produce. Coming to the really issue, is there any the new program or agenda from government for children? Even now, we are witnessing a segregation policy for the children. Children of the poor attend public schools. Children of the well-to-do go to a private school. A lot of things. I have voted, I grew up as a child, waking up with children of the royal family. It can this presents it can children from poor homes in meet and mingle with the children of the royal family or aristocratic family. It is no longer there. We live in apartheid system. We are practicing apartheid system in Nigeria, economically, socially, religiously. It is just formally celebrating children's with children who that were not taken up, children who are roaming the street, just like we itemize some of the social children talking on the street, children doing illegal mining, a lot of things. So there are no provision for the children. Children were displaced, their parents are displaced, suffering from insecurity. A lot of war.
Okay.
You have this topic you are trying to touch a kind of worm that is fitting into our society. It's all rhetoric. The children do.
Interesting. Thank you very much, sir. I mean, so I brought it up. I mean, you called it a can of worms, but I brought it up because there is this general outcry, rightly so, targeted at the government. And when you look at the rate of poverty in the country, which is sort of like a trigger for a lot of the things that we're seeing happening to our children, these are conversations that must be had, right? But at the same time, shouldn't we be calling ourselves out to, like I know poverty is a real thing, but if you look at some of the other information that this report brought out, let's go through very quickly. This report said that child abandonment emerged as the most common form of abuse, with 1,647 reported cases between January and March 2026. Who is abandoning the children? Child custody disputes also followed as the most common form of abuse, with 1,303 cases, reflecting growing family conflicts affecting children's welfare. And then child labor accounted for 1,111 cases. So these are real life things that are happening to our children, and you can see the numbers. Please do well to go and read up the report by yourself, just in case you are not too clear on some of the things or you're doubting it a little bit. If you go to insecurity, that's a whole different kettle of fish altogether. But who is abandoning children? Well, when it comes to child custody disputes, it's a matter of the parents who are responsible, right? Then you also have child labor, right, accounting also in these figures. Then you also have 1,074 cases of child marriage recorded between January and March of 2026. And this is highlighting the persistence of harmful traditional practices and economic pressures that continue to affect children, especially girls. Other reported violations include 1,107 other forms of abuse. Of this 1,107, 1,041 cases involve denial of access to children. 933 violations related to children's right to survival and development, and 843 incidents of sexual abuse. The Commission also documented 497 cases of child trafficking and 383 violations linked to denial of education. So we're dealing with a very broad spectrum of issues that are affecting our children here, and that is why I brought this up today. It might be opening up this can, but it just also says that we are, to a large extent, you have an entire nation who's culpable for the state of our children. Yeah, so how do we fix it? That's the whole purpose of this. It's to say the things that need to be happening constantly around the clock, whether from the government level, whether the level of the community, whether the level of the parents and all of that. So please, that is why we are doing this, so that we can actually really and truly, so that Malam Waka, as he said, his rhetorics, we can actually really and truly celebrate our children. Right? Across the country, children and parents say the statistics represent real-life experiences that continue to shape their childhood in painful ways. And get this, according to the NHRC data, the Federal Capital Territory recorded the highest number of child rights violations in the country during the review period with 1,351 reported cases. So do with that information what you will. Let's get back to the phone line. Good afternoon. Hello?
Hello.
Please tell me you can hear me, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Oh, okay.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm glad you can hear me.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I hear you.
Oh, God. What's up? What have we done to you?
Can you hear me?
Sir, I can hear you. Please talk to me.
Hello, can you hear me?
Okay, so let's just do this. If you call on WhatsApp, because there seems to be a problem technically, if you call on WhatsApp, just go ahead and say what it is that you have to say, okay? Just in case you're particular about using WhatsApp. Otherwise, call the direct line, 0809-597-4869. Hello? Hello? Ha, the phone line's too. Good afternoon.
Hello?
Welcome.
Yeah, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you.
Hold on.
Thank you.
I want to use this privilege to wish my Muslim brothers happy Salah celebration day. I wish every Muslim out there to celebrate in peace and one accord. Speaking about children, it's very unfortunate what we experience. Anyway, it is Williams on the line.
Thank you so much for stating your name, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, I so sad because I always say that we keep on talking because sometimes we feel that it seems we are tired of talking. It seems that it's the modern nature. If the people in the corridors of power need to listen, even though they listen, they don't care. What they care is to get to the place of authority of power. What they care is they care about what power they need to grab, who's counting, what are they counting right vote, or who's in APC or ADC or DDC or whatever. What they care is power. They don't care about those children who are in the street begging. They don't care those children who are in the in the forest. They don't care about this thing. They don't just care about, it's very sad that I'm pretty sad. We truly find ourselves very, very unfortunate. I'm very, very, like I said, it's very, very, I'm so unfortunate that in this day and age where we find ourselves, that we see how those so-called so unfortunate human being operating in the forest, migrating from the other side of the eye, moving to the southwest, and children in these days of 27th of May, and children are sad. I can remember in those days when I grew up as a child in Army Children's School, by the time because I was in Boy Scout, and then we believed that we need to be in a stadium. And as a Boy Scout, I need to be in a stadium. I need to wake up at 7 a.m., 7:30 to be in a stadium. So, we're growing up, and those children, those days, and today, those things have been paid away.
Okay.
I see children living in disarray. I see them in the Ghana street begging. You go to the south, and where are they coming from? These children are coming from home.
Okay.
Whereby they come from home, they have local government chairman, they have governors who are living in large and all the stuff.
All right, sir.
If this should be the children of politicians, we are driving kind of, can I allow the children to be begging in the street?
All right, sir.
Begging, being harassing everybody. It's pretty sad. It's really sad. Honestly speaking, when we are living, sorry to say this long, when I was in Bauchi, when we were going in Bauchi, I remember Children don't beg, don't hawk. If you hawk, we're living in Jara. I remember one who was selling, I think it was about 8 years. I think my age was when we were growing up that time. It was
all right, sir.
My friend. They
all
had
right.
to arrest him. Arrest the teacher, arrest the parents. So why do you allow the children? I saw them in the court.
Okay, let's leave it at that, sir, please, because my phone lines are buzzing and other people need to get their thoughts in. But, I mean, your point very well made and noted as well. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you, ma. Auntie, like by next year, we are going to look for a device that will that we are going to connect to this phone line. When it is good people, it will just call that person off. That is coming from gender nature. This is not what man. I never work at Salah. When we see work at Salah, the rest of them. You see, all hands must be on deck. We have to catch these children at young age. Look at China today. Look at how developed China is in terms of production. They send their children abroad, US, UK, and the rest of them, France. Go and learn skills. You understand? Most of them are big engineers today. You understand? From childhood. You may see a boy of 20 years, an engineer. You understand? A boy of 18, an engineer. It's not necessary that you must be a professor because you become an engineer. No. There's one President Goodluck said a long time ago. President Goodluck said, if these children will understand Arabic, you understand, the language that is not their language, they understand. You understand? Automatically, if you give them that chance, they will be great. So what are we not saying? Somebody will be riding a car almost 200 million naira car, you understand, 500 million naira car. That money, use it to build schools for these children and catch them early. You understand? I'm telling you, insecurity will be a thing of the past.
All right, sir.
Thank you very much.
Okay, then. Thank you. We are still talking, and we'll continue to take your calls for another 2 minutes or so, but I need to get to the messages first. Let's start with this one here. Okay, sorry about that. Hello, Somi. How are you? I wish you Eid Mubarak. Okay, no. I think this is for another time. I'll take that one. Good afternoon, Somi. On the issue of kidnapping of Nigerian children by these monsters and the outrage by Ezekwesili and the likes, it is saddening what we're going through in the country. The majority of Nigerians are not asking the right questions. If you like, blame Tinubu for the insecurity from now till tomorrow. The insecurity will not abate until we as a people are ready to do the right thing. I'm sure you and other Nigerians know that our insecurity problems did not start with this administration. These bandits and terrorists know we are under policed and they are taking full advantage of it. This president that is being vilified by Ezekwesili and the likes has proposed the introduction of state policing, but some Nigerians, including the ones that call on the station, are against the idea. Politics comes to the front burner immediately and trumps sanctity of life. We have a big problem that has to do with under-policing, and I believe this is what we should focus on. Even the media that should champion this cause are nowhere to be found. Olufemi Victor with that one. Okay. Good afternoon, Sumi. What Malamoka is saying about children beggars within the city center is growing every day. And you wonder inside the city center, each and every bus stop, you see them. Please let the government do something about this, or else I'm telling these children can be used to cause havoc in years to come. Thank you, Mendy, with that message. Good afternoon, Sumi. Did I hear someone opine that the other room be banned to curb reproduction of children? Count me out. I did not join anymore. Barakat the Salah to all our Muslim brothers and sisters. I said Eid Mubarak to you all. Yahaya, the head boy, with that one. I'm seeing voice notes here, but they're way across the 2-minute mark. The most that I can do is a minute 45 seconds. So please, if you did send me a voice note, I would ask that you resend it again. Keep it under 2 minutes so that I can play it. Good afternoon, Sumi. I hope you're having a great day and happy Eid to our Muslim faithful. Children's Day. How can we celebrate Children's Day while scores of them are in bandits' camp? And in those states, their local government chairman and a governor all kept mute and doing nothing. This country is just unbelievable. Our politicians are just terrible, only concerned about themselves. What a country. All right. We've got the news coming up in a few minutes, but just in case you missed out on the other aspects that I spoke about for children, let me bring the figures back to you again. 9,939 child's right violation cases reported in 3 months, according to data from National Human Rights Commission. 10 states in violation of child's right between this period has Abuja topping the list, Benue, Borno, Kaduna, Niger, Plateau, Imo, Sokoto, Bauchi, and Kogi. And the issues span not just insecurity, but child abandonment. We've also got child custody cases. We've also got issues of child marriages and then other forms of violations and abuse, including incidents of sexual abuse. So, as far as our children are concerned, there is a vast range of issues that are affecting them. And just like some of the other callers have said, perhaps it's a case of all hands on deck, because there are things that even we as parents are responsible for, and we need to be playing our part as well to ensure that our children are really and truly happy, whether they are, especially when they're at home. Of course, when they're out of home and they're in the hands of terrorists and bandits, it's just absolute chaos. But even when they're at home, there are issues that they're going through as well. All right, so let's speak to those as well, hopefully. A few children spoke on insecurity, hunger, and exclusion. Perhaps if we have time after the news, we will get to that, and then we'll take one more story. Stay with us. The calls will continue to be received after the news.
It's okay. That is okay. It's okay. No, it's okay. Let me explain. It's okay. It's okay. She. Off your mic.
On 95.1 Nigeria Info.
Your mic is always on. Let's talk.
is the issue of men giving birth to children they cannot take care of. A man having 7 children already, God bless him with one small money, maybe in where he's working, God bless him with one areas and what the next thing he will think of is another wife. Not thinking of these children that are already on ground that need to be catered for. That's how do we give birth to many children and send them to different states to go and be learning one sort of teaching or the other. And when the children get to that place, they will give them plate and let them go and be begging. So until there is law or there are laws promulgated, to deter men from such act, they will continue. If the economy is bad, you understand, and you are giving birth to many children, what will that make the economy? It will make it worse. So don't give birth to children you cannot take care of. Don't add to our problems. There is no need you giving birth to many children. What do you want? What do you need them for? Cater for your wife and your children that you already have. God will help us. Thank you very much.
All right then. This conversation in this angle is a bit dicey. One man's too many. It's another man's just okay. So, I mean, do you really want us going the way of, was it China who had that law at some point? I mean, it is a valid suggestion to make, especially if you really consider the fact that a lot of what we're seeing in terms of how children are treated in this country can be tied directly to poverty. So, I don't know. Maybe if there's enough advocacy on that, it could be something that will be taken seriously. It's 2 men now that have made something, suggestions in this direction. So that's saying something, isn't it? A few more calls. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir.
This is Mr. Abbas calling from Dusaladi.
Go ahead, please.
Concerning the issue of children, abandonment, child marriage, and all that, you see, those who are giving us these statistics, they should please try to make reference to the particular place that is not central to this issue. Like you talk about the North, I think the North is the most hit when you talk about issues like this, especially early marriage. You see, in everything centered around marriage, it's very important than even education itself. You see, when a girl child is born, brought up, once she's attaining the ages of 13, 14, 15, she's already being sensitized about marriage. They are never sensitized about all that things, especially education. So they are already prepared for marriage. That is why you see that we are having child marriage in the North. Again, the men who have been married to these young girls, they are jobless. Some of them don't even do anything. Some of them are cataracts, all that are doing many jobs that cannot even afford to even take care of a family. But you see them having 2 to 3 wives. This is the system of poverty that has been created in the North. And the leaders of the North are not even addressing this issue. We keep talking about the central. When it comes to issue like this, it is not the issue of the central government. The issue of the state government and the local government and the local authorities who are supposed to sensitize these people against this thing. Besides, have you heard of any northern governor speaks about this thing? They will never, because they see it as cultural to them. So they will never speak about it. So when you're talking about child marriage and all that is derived to our children, it is peculiar to the North. Do you know that in the North, if a man is getting to 25 years, they start pressuring to marry. Whereby in other regions, like let's say the Southwest, a 25-year-old young man must complete his education before talking about marriage. But that here is not like that.
All right.
The system and the culture of poverty is more embedded in the North. And they produce children. The men cannot take care of them. They send them, and then you see them everywhere, progressing anywhere, begging. So if we want to stop this thing, the northern governors, the United States governors, must put their foot on ground and be ready to stamp it out.
All right.
It's not a problem of the central government, though it is happening in other areas, but it is more minimal when you do a comparative analysis with the northern region. So if these governments are not doing anything, if the local authorities are not,
I have to let you go.
The central government can do because they see it as an important fabric of their society.
Thank you so much. I have to let you go. You were going on, and you were way past your time. But your point is very well made, and you said that the report should have highlighted the areas where this is happening. And I did mention that, again, this is speaking to generally to violation of child's rights, and it was conducted in the first quarter of the year. FCT was top of that list, followed by Benue, then Borno, Kaduna, Niger, Plateau, Imo, Sokoto, Bauchi, and then Kogi states. That is for January to March, when this survey was conducted. But across the country altogether, 9,939 child rights violations cases were reported. I have to move on to the second story. When we're done with that, I open up the phone lines again, and then we can continue with your thoughts and contributions. All right, this one, switching to a very vital matter ahead of 2027. A day after the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, appealed the verdict of a federal high court that voided its timeline on party register and election guidelines, seeking a stay of execution of that judgment, another federal high court in Abuja yesterday upheld INEC's authority to fix timelines for political party primaries ahead of the 2027 general elections. The court, however, voided two of the commission's key deadlines for candidate submissions, ruling that they violated statutory provisions of the Electoral Act 2026. Justice James Omotosho, who delivered the judgment in a suit filed by the SDP. This is the second suit now. The first one was filed by was the Youth Party. That was the one that that completely voided INEC's timeline on party register and election guidelines. So this second one now, in another court in Abuja, was filed by the SDP, and it challenged aspects of INEC's timetable and schedule of activities for the 2027 general elections, ordering that INEC should amend aspects of its timetable and schedule of activities for the 2027 general elections, holding that the electoral body must strictly comply with timelines stipulated in the Electoral Act 2026. The judge held that while INEC possesses constitutional and statutory powers to issue and adjust election timetables, such powers are not absolute and must align with the provisions of the law. The court specifically faulted portions of a timetable that shortened the statutory period granted to political parties for the submission and substitution of candidates. Justice Omotosho declared that INEC cannot lawfully abridge the 120 days provided under Section 29(1) of the Electoral Act 2026 for political parties to submit particulars of their candidates ahead of elections. The judge further held that the Commission also lacks the power to alter the 90-day window allowed under Section 31 of the Act for substitution of candidates. Consequently, the court voided the deadlines of August 29, 2026 and September 16, 2026, fixed by INEC for submission of nomination forms for presidential, National Assembly, governorship, and House of Assembly candidates, declaring them inconsistent with the Electoral Act. The court, though, upheld INEC's authority to request membership registers from political parties and fix timelines for the conduct of party primaries, holding that such actions were within its statutory responsibilities. The SDP, through its counsel, Mr. Rowan Okpanachi, had asked the court to determine whether INEC possessed the legal authority under Sections 82 and 84(1) of the Electoral Act 2026 to prescribe timelines for the conduct of party primaries, and whether it could lawfully shorten the statutory frame for submission of candidates' particulars. INEC, represented by Dr. Alex Zion, urged the court to dismiss the suit, arguing that the Commission acted within its constitutional powers and that the matter was statute barred. But Justice Omotosho rejected the objection, holding that the suit was competent since it arose from a press statement issued by INEC on March 27. So the court has held that an election timetable constitutes a chain of electoral activities, including the submission of membership registers and scheduling of party primaries, all of which must conform strictly with the Electoral Act. And so you are having, perhaps, it's going to mean that INEC will set up another appeal with this court. While the first one completely voided the timetable, this one has voided parts of it and granted it, authority on other parts. So yes, INEC already has an appeal at the Court of Appeal in Abuja to challenge the judgment on May 20 in a separate suit filed by the Youth Party, which nullified aspects of its timetable. And in terms of reactions, a legal practitioner has noted that the administrative guidelines issued by INEC cannot supersede provisions of the Electoral Act as controversy deepens over the Commission's 2027 election timetable. And he said that the legal dispute between INEC and the Federal High Court extends beyond electoral administration and raises broader constitutional questions about statutory authority and electoral legality. So the disagreement between INEC and some political parties is centering on electoral guidelines and whether subsidiary regulations by the Commission can lawfully restrict rights already guaranteed under the Electoral Act. So yes, all of this is playing out and the time is shortening. 2027 is around the corner, where some are asking certain questions. Is INEC becoming too powerful? Can they actually do what it is that they have done? And that is why some of these parties have taken them to court. But what does that mean, really and truly? You are having legality versus administration coming up. You are having what some people are calling the suffocation of internal democracy because INEC is rushing them. And then you are having the academic argument where INEC is telling the appeal court that this lawsuit is academic and hypothetical. But to a smaller political party trying to build a membership database before a strict deadline, it feels very real. Is INEC being dismissive of the practical hurdles political parties face, especially the smaller ones? Let's talk 0809-597-4869 and on WhatsApp 0809-993-0137. Two courts have spoken. INEC is fighting back. It wants to keep its compressed schedule so that it has enough time to prepare, and it's claiming logistics defense. If the court forces INEC to give parties more time, is there a concern that we will see failures, logistic failures, and late postponements when 2027 arrives? Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Welcome, sir.
My name is Adiola Victor from this allergy.
Go ahead, please.
To me, it seems the opposition political parties are not ready for this election. The last general election took place in 2023. All of them have all the time in the world to prepare for this election. This is going to 3 years now plus, and they are still dragging INEC to court now and then. They are fighting themselves, causing crisis in their party, fractionalizing in their party, and causing problems, going from one court to the other, shopping for judgment. Are they serious? They are not serious. If they are serious, they're supposed to be mobilizing members, mass mobilization of members, people who join their party and do the insane. All of them want to be chairman of party, secretary of party, and they are attacking. In some parties, you will see one person is the chairman, is the treasurer, is the secretary, and they blame all that want on INEC. They have to look inward and sort out the challenges instead of blaming INEC. You are dragging INEC to court after INEC has released a timetable. What are you doing for the past 3 years? So, those who are ready for it, let them prepare. Those who are not ready, they should pull out of this election. How many of them have structures, offices in all the states of the federation? Some of them are mushroom political parties. So, they're not serious for this election. Now, they want to stop INEC again. When they know they have already failed, instead of them to come together and postman and present a some candidate that will fight this government out of power.
Okay.
They are fighting, taking INEC to court. They are not serious.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Hello?
Hello?
Good afternoon.
Hello?
I can hear you, sir.
Good afternoon, ladies. How are you?
Good afternoon, sir. Very well, thank you. Go ahead, please.
My name is Obedient Elder Comrade Tony,
right,
also known as the Fearless Benima, talking from Abuja, calling from Abuja. Now, I think the last caller, I'm so sorry. I take exception to his views on the issue at stake now. The truth of the matter is that INEC is supposed to be an unbiased umpire, but from what we have been seeing since 2023, INEC has been hijacked by the executive arm of government, just like they've done to the a parliamentary arm of government, as well as the judiciary. Perhaps the judiciary now are now trying to extricate themselves out from the claws of the executives. No doubt about it that, you see, INEC deliberately set a trap for political parties, save for their paymaster APC. They are only just trying to, protect their party APC in trying to subsume other parties so that they can never, be able to meet up with the deadline of the so-called, constitutionally, you see, INEC have no right to begin to set timelines for political parties to submit the names of their members, as well as whether they have offices or not. The most important thing is that if they are able to demonstrate having offices in 2/3 out of 36 states, they are good to go. Then what's the problem of, INEC? You see, it is now very, very obvious. Not until we Nigerians, seize the gauntlet, INEC will still ride a roughshod over the wheels of Nigerians come January 20, but this time around, INEC cannot do anything because the Nigerian masses, are going to come out in their millions. Whether INEC likes it or not, nothing like manipulation in next year's election.
All right, sir.
Let them be told that the Nigerian masses are equally ready to push out the government from power, and INEC should do the right thing rather than trying to stampede political parties. They don't have that right constitutionally.
Thank you very much,
so that's
sir.
my take. Thank you.
Well, just a point that you made there when you say they don't have that right. I mean, every other electoral act that we've had in Nigeria leading up to this 2027 electoral act has strictly stipulated timelines that political parties must adhere to. So when you say that INEC is setting these timelines for everybody but who you call their paymaster, what would you say about the fact that these timelines have existed long before now? I think the grouse here with INEC is that they are shortening the timelines. And if we were going to be fair to INEC to some extent, do you remember when the first timetable came out and then there was an outcry because the I think it was the presidential, is it the National Assembly, the second one, can't remember which one it comes after now, but the second election will have entered into the Salah period. And so there was outcry that you cannot have a timetable that will, it will cause for conflict and it's going to, make it uncomfortable for some of our Muslim faithfuls to be able to do the elections while also dealing with their religious obligations. So if we're going to be fair to INEC, I don't think that the shortening of the timelines came about until there was that outcry and they had to now, adjust the timetable so that we could still have an election that would not infringe on people's religious obligation rights. So to say that they don't have the right, I don't know. The electoral acts prior to this one have empowered them to do just that. Hello?
Hello, good evening, Somi.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Lachide from Wuseson.
Go ahead.
On INEC issue, Sister Somi, remember, we discussed this issue last week. If by now, let's not even talk about that they giving guideline or not. Election remains less than 7 months. And as we speak, most parties have not conducted their primary, their convention. And this is the same party. People are saying they are ready to take over government. They are all internal issues, they are unable to solve it. They have not gotten candidate for House of Reps, for Senate, for presidency, less than 6 months to election.
But Dr. Olajide, you keep making this point. I have to ask, irrespective of the fact that they're not done with their primaries and what have you, they are still within the INEC timeline. So why is that an issue? It doesn't matter if they're not done it yet.
People are complaining that why INEC should set up a guideline. The regulatory political party that at social time they must have done this. That's why I first said, let us remove INEC regulation. Let's give them free hand. 6 months to election. Madam Somi, if somebody wants to prepare for WAEC, 6 months to WAEC, he has not started reading his books. See, there are some things we are doing to ourselves here, and we think it's right. I don't even know. You are going for that competition up till now. You have not put up your leg right on the feet.
All right, sir.
Then you say they should not give guidelines. Okay, should we now be a nation without no rules?
All right, sir.
Is that the way they do Western world in other countries? And we just have to stampede everybody just to suit a particular person. It doesn't work that way.
Thank you, sir. Let's leave it at that. I've got a commercial. When we come back, we'll talk some more.
Takes a plate of jollof rice to the next level of goodness.